Hello, and welcome to another video. Here with Flight the Noob. It's been a couple of days since I put out a video, so I thought I'll make a video with the 777-300ER in 2024. And this thing is looking pretty gorgeous here. I've updated the GSX, to the latest version. GSX ground services to the latest version, so hopefully we won't have many issues that I've been having with this aircraft in 2024 using GSX. But yeah, looking good here, looking absolutely lovely. As you can tell, the aircraft is very good looking, absolutely gorgeous. I'm in the drone camera. I'm not exactly using the walk around mode, because the drone camera gives you a better look in and around this particular aircraft, which isn't too bad in all honesty. And yeah, it looks good. Looks pretty decent. Yeah, now PMDG's external models aren't the best. They're certainly not as good as some of the other ones in the market, but it's nothing to complain about. We've got our APU running, as you can tell. I think we are pretty much, APU running, and we're on the ground. This APU has been running for a while now, so hopefully everything will be alright. Okay, great. Without further delay, I'm going to jump back into the cockpit and we're going to get ourselves started up. So just before we do, today we are at Cardiff, Wales, and as you can see all around us, it's probably one of the more beautiful surrounding areas that I've been in for an airport. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And the airport itself is very beautiful. It has quickly become one of my very favorite airports. Now, I must say this airport is way too small for a 777, as you can tell. Way too small. Do we have traffic running today? We do have traffic running today. But, there's one other aircraft at Cardiff that I can see. I don't even know which airliner it is. Let's go and have a look. It is German Airways. It appears to be an Embraer. So yeah, the airport itself is quite good looking, if you ask me. It looks good. Yeah, I like the signs. I don't think any of the internals, there are no interiors modeled here, but it's a very good looking airport nonetheless. Beautiful stuff. So very nice. Right, very nice little airport. Happy about it. Handcrafted by default, so that's a beautiful airport right there. Nonetheless, let's head back into the cockpit here, see what's going on. So APU running, and so let's see what we can do about this. All right, up here, let's turn on our ADIRU systems. IFE and all that cabin utility stuff is on, which is fantastic. APU is on, emergency lights can come to armed position, nav lights are on. Do we need to turn on any of the lights today? Not really. The signs can go to full on both sides. Okay, we got that fuel pump on, everything else is off. That's fine by me. Everything else is looking pretty decent if you ask me. That's great. That is great, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to our checklist here and have a look at our before start. Oxygen, we need to test the oxygens, we need to look at the flight instruments and parking brake and all that stuff. Let's do parking brake, shall we? That thing should have been on, but parking brake is set. Flight instruments, heading altimeter, I think we're good on that. We're waiting for the ADIRU, so I'm not going to really tick anything just yet. Let's check out our oxygen. Oxygen is all good. I don't know why I do this. We already know oxygen is fine. It's not like, I mean, I like flight simming realistically, but we don't really need to check it to this extent here. So yeah, but nonetheless, we'll check that. We'll wait for the loading of the IRS here. Okay, let's go to position initialization. Let's pick up our IRS GPS there. We'll put that in there, and there we go. Reference airport for the day is EGFF, which is Cardiff in Wales. Cardiff International Airport. We'll set that in. Very, very good. Before I go any further, let's come to the tablet here. Let's request the data from SimBrief. And that should get us our route here. There it is. There it is. Okay. So a simple route over here crossing, I believe this is the Irish Sea, isn't it? I'm not too sure. Okay, so let's do that. Let's fly back in there. Okay. So that's Cork for you. Sorry, I gotta use this. So that's where we're landing into, EICK today. All right, very, very good. Very, very good. That is all looking absolutely beautiful. Now, GSX has been updated, like I said. I just hope that it actually works. But let's come back in here. Let me try and request boarding. See what that does, I guess. Right? So, GSX. Request boarding. Okay, I've requested some boarding there. Let's go towards the route. Origin is EGFF. Destination is EICK, which is Cork in Ireland. Flying from Cardiff to Cork today. Route request, SimBrief, set the payload, set the fuel, select the route. So we're requesting it right now. Let's just quickly go outside, see if... Okay, things are getting set up there. We'll have a look at it in just a second. Route request sent. Let's load that route there. Waiting for the route to get loaded. And while that happens, you know what? I'm just going to go outside quickly. Have a look at what's going on in terms of ground services. There we go. We got the stairs coming on, which is always a good sign. There's a little bit of a stutter there. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but there we go. Stairs being attached. That's a good sign. Good sign right there. Activate that. Execute that. Brilliant. Okay, we can clear all these messages. They're looking good. We can check that. All right. Okay, what else do we need to do here? Flight number. Do I need to put one? Can put one here if I want. Runway, takeoff runway today is 30. So runway 30. Just for you guys' information, this is barely enough to get ourselves up out of this ground. So I'm not sure whether how good our takeoff will be. These airports are very, very small. They're not exactly ideal for a 777, particularly Cardiff here. So let's see how this goes. Let's see how this goes. Okay, all right. Let's go to our departure arrival, shall we? So we're taking off out of runway 30 and our departure is supposed to be BCN 1A. This one right here. Let's execute that. For our arrival into Cork, we are using runway 34 for landing. So ILS is available, lucky us. And we're going to use VAPA 1G, which is right here. Brilliant. Execute that too. Now, if we go to our legs, we don't have VNAV available with us. There are no discontinuities for the time being, so that's great. Okay. That is great. Okay, performance initialization. Let me set the 0 fuel weight right there and we'll accept this. Flight cruising altitude 28,000. We're supposed to do 24,000 apparently. Cost index of 98. I'm going to keep it exactly the way it is. Thrust limit. I'm not derating the thrust today. I want maximum. Thank you. Flaps are going to be 15 today. Flaps are going to be 15. Center of gravity. Trim right there. 3.25. I don't know how this trim thing works, but hopefully it takes care of itself. And we're going to input those right there. We're looking good. Okay, performance done, all of that done. Approach, we're going to use that right there, 142 apparently. And that pretty much finishes off everything. There we go. We got VNAV available as well. Pretty ready here. So, before we go any further, let's have a look outside. Ah, there we go. Passengers are boarding. Fantastic. That is great to see. So yeah, we know that this entire setup works if we're using stairs in the passenger bus, but we know that it doesn't work if we try and attach the gate. That is when I was having problems with GSX earlier on when I tried to take off from the gate. So yeah, let's see how that goes. Maybe perhaps in Cork I'll try and park ourselves into a little gate there, and yeah, we'll see if GSX is working now for this 777 in 2024. Anyway, enough ruffling about that. Let's come back in here. We got stuff to do here as the passengers board. Lucky for us, APU is already running, so we don't need to worry about that. Let's see, what can we do here? Let's set the barometric pressure to the local pressure 30.00, which is fine. That is great. I think that is accurate. 1016 is 30.01 or somewhere there, so that's accurate. As far as speed, I'm going to use 185 as usual. FD on, please. Thank you. Flight directors are on. LNAV is working. VNAV is working. That is fantastic. As for our cruising altitude, we said 28,000, which is kind of high for this particular journey, but I'm not going to argue here. I'm just going to put this in and see how things go. Our heading selection for the day, apparently it's fine. All right, we're pretty much parked parallel to the runway, so that makes sense. Pretty much makes sense. That's all looking good now. So we can tick that. Takeoff speeds are done. That's done. That's done. That's done. We just need beacon lights and that to get rid of that checklist. But yeah, looking good here, which is fantastic. Passenger boarding continuing on here. Cargo loading almost finished, if I'm not completely mistaken. Let's turn around here. Have a look at our cargo loading going on. Yep, final pellet on both sides in terms of cargo loading. So that is fantastic. Isn't that a gorgeous aircraft, though? You cannot tell me that you don't love the 777. Doesn't make any sense if you do. Look at how gorgeous this thing is. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Anyway, I have a bias towards the 777 as it is, so probably if someone else made the external model for the 777, it would be even better, I have to say. Jumping back into the cockpit, let's have a little look at the passenger views right there. There we go. Our passenger views are looking good for the day. Okay, so pretty much we got nothing else to do right now till wait for the passengers to finish boarding, which they just did. Oh, fantastic. Which they just kind of did. That is great. We can actually request departure now. We've got all the fuel we need. So we can go ahead and request prepare for pushback and departure. Thank you very much. So we'll let that happen automatically here. Pretty windy day today, huh? Let's take a look at our route while we wait for this to happen. Let's take a look at our route here. So I'm going to open up a little nav map for you guys. There it is. You guys can see it. That is fantastic. There it is. We're at Cardiff. Beautiful, beautiful place. There you go. We're going to take off from runway 30. And we are going to head on over using this fairly simple but a little twisty departure there. And we're going to turn our way back over the Irish Sea, right? This has to be the Irish Sea. I don't know what this body of water is called. It's not telling us for some reason. That's interesting. It's supposed to, but it's not telling me. Okay, whatever. So we're going to... It says the Celtic Sea. Perhaps we're over the Celtic Sea. Maybe that's the Irish Sea. I don't know. But yeah, we're apparently at the Celtic Sea. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to turn over the water and then we're going to head in towards Cork. We're going to kind of, not even a complicated arrival there either, just simple, straightforward into runway 07. The only thing to remember is we're actually going to be using the ILS to land in here. So why don't I actually set that in here? Select our ILS approach. 34, we'll insert that just so we have that displayed for us. There we go. Brilliant. So now we can see the ILS there as well. There we go. That's where we are expected to catch the glide slope. And yeah, I don't know why it's not showing me the feathers for it. The feather of the ILS isn't really showing, so I don't know what that means. But anyway, there we go. That should be fairly straightforward. And there's a little nav map for you guys. Let's take a look outside. There we go. Pushback is being attached, but none of these are detaching. I don't know why these things are supposed to go away. Come on. Why are they going away? Okay. Yeah, I'd like to interrupt Pushback, please. Good lord. What the... Yeah, GSX is still being a little bit wonky here. For me at least. Let me go to ground operations. Let me go to remove the chocks there. Door management, I'm going to close everything up here as well. Okay, once all of that is done... See, it keeps opening it back up. I don't understand. What on earth is going on now? So it still has issues with GSX, basically. Waiting for your action. Close left entry 5. Yeah, so I still have issues here with... close this up, please. Okay, hopefully it stays closed. Okay. That's closed. Now what is GSX telling me now? Okay, I have no idea what's going on here. I'm just gonna close everything I possibly can. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna leave them the way it is. And hopefully I'll be able to request pushback now. Waiting for your action, close left entry 5. Good lord. Okay. Handling GSX choice. Now it says EasyJet. I'm going British Airways. Let's see what happens. Okay. So we're supposed to push back now. No, don't interrupt pushback. Which way do we do pushback for today? We need to turn our nose to the left. Okay. So we're going nose to the left. So this is still giving me issues, ladies and gentlemen. But apart from that, I think we're okay. It's giving me a little bit of issues. For some reason, the door closing thing doesn't really happen. And I have the profile installed. So I don't know what that means for us. I have no idea. Anyway, I'm not going to worry too much about it. Just going to wait for this pushback to attach. And then we can get on out of here. Okay. Can tick that. Okay, fantastic. Let's go ahead and turn on some stuff here. The fuel pumps can go on. Should I turn on these electric stuff and the hydraulics? Probably should. Maybe after one engine starts I will. I don't know. Nose to the left is what we want. Okay, let's find out if that's possible. As I told you, this airport is really, really tiny. We're not supposed to be flying a 777 out of here. I don't think so. But that's part of the fun of it. It's going to be interesting, right? Okay. Let's see. We are flying real time and real weather. Just to confirm, let's have one more look. There we go. Everything is live. Brilliant. Oh, for the love of God. The doors are back open. Oh, goodness me. I give up with this damn thing. I don't know what GSX does, but it opens up all the doors for some reason. I don't know. So we still have issues. Effectively is what I'm trying to tell you. Close all, for the love of God. Close it. Okay, nose left. Thank you very much. Okay, we can release our parking brake now. Once again, if PMDG is graceful enough to allow me to do that, there we go. Okay. Pushback has begun. Brilliant. Perfect. And it's turning us. We're going to hit that staircase. We probably are. That's a close call right there. Anyway. Beacon lights to on. And that checklist is completed right there. Let us begin our engine start here. I'm just going to put that right there. I'm going to go to engine on that. N2 is rising. Brilliant. I'm going to wait for N2 about 20% before we flick open the fuel control. So there we go. Engine number 1 starting up, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. That pushback better stop soon. Okay. Parking brakes. Let's start our next engine here, which is engine number 2 right there. Okay, N2 coming alive. Pushback being detached, I presume. There we go. It's oh, good lord. There's one way to detach the pushback. But there we go. Engine number 2 is coming to life. Alrighty, let's go up here and turn on this stuff. We need to do that. There we go. Brilliant. We've got the wave coming up. There we go. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Good luck. All right. Perfect. Perfecto. We can drop our flaps in a bit here. But let's go overhead first, make sure we're all good here. We can turn on our taxi lights. Strobe lights can remain off for the time being. Everything else here is looking good. Why are these off? These should turn on momentarily if we turn off the APU. So let's turn off our APU here. That should bring our left and right pack from the engines to life here, with the bleed air already being on here. So yeah, that should work. Let's turn the pump there on as well. There we go. Looking good. Everything is looking good up here. Nothing left to do. Seatbelt signs are on. All the lights are looking good for the time being. We are good, ladies and gentlemen. Let's drop the flaps, shall we? We'll observe the flaps going down from passenger point of view. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Flaps dropping. Okay, waiting for the flaps to start dropping. There it is. Always love this view. Looking good. Looking good. Okay, brilliant. Let's head back into the cockpit here. Perfect. Flaps 15 set. Let's go back to our checklist, shall we? let's see, what else is left here? Anti-ice, we're not worrying about that. Let's do that. Flight controls, we need to check our flight controls. We can do this from the outside, but we can also have the flight control thing right here to help us with that. So let's check our flight controls, shall we? Okay. Aileron left, aileron right, elevator down, elevators up, rudder either side. If we go outside, we can see that in action there. We're looking good. We know we're good. Controls are working, so that's fantastic. Fantastic. All right, anyway. That's unnecessary. Let's come back into the checklist here. Flight controls are good. That is done. And flaps are 15. Ground equipment all clear. Ground equipment. I should enunciate my words. Okay. All of that is done. Now we've got after takeoff. Apart from that, we're looking good here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's head on out of here. Today's taxi is going to be very, very short. So let me try and release this parking brake, shall I? Release parking brake. Ta-da! There we go. We've released our parking brake. Fortunately, we haven't started rolling just yet. So I'm going to crack open the throttle here. And that will get us rolling. Because the 777 engines are so powerful. There we go. It's got us rolling already at 5 knots. That is pretty impressive for an aircraft this size. So yeah, let's see how this goes. I'm not even entirely sure I'll be able to take off from this particular airport. That's going to be fun to find out, huh? It's going to be real fun to find out. So let's see. Let us see. I'm going to crack open the throttle a little bit more here. Just to be able to make this turn. There we go. I'm going to let the aircraft travel out just a little bit more, just like that. There we go. That's much better. And then we will turn on to our... I mean, it can barely fit in the taxiway, so yeah. I don't have much hope in the way of... okay, I should really cut that throttle back right there. I don't have much hope in the way of being able to take off from here, but there it is. Beautiful Cardiff. Beautiful, beautiful Cardiff. Oh, we got another aircraft here as well. Anyway. Focusing on the taxi here, we're going to go all the way to the end of the runway there, because we're really going to need it today. Are we not, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, saying bye-bye to the airport there on this side. Looking good though. This airport is absolutely stunning place to be at. So yeah, we can barely fit on the taxiway. Very, very, yeah, you know, that's what makes this flight fun. So let's see how we do. Let's see how we do. The taxi is very short, so there's no need to cut anything here. Okay, since we're coming up on the runway pretty quick there's our stop bar right there. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, we're traveling at 23 knots. Oh, we're actually gonna go the longer way around, so we have as much room as possible for takeoff. So, am I turning right? Yeah, I am. I am turning correctly here, so that is good news. That is good news. There comes the stop bar already. So I'm gonna apply a bit of brake here, slow ourselves down. If it will let me here, there we go. Brilliant. Gonna let it run a little bit there. Then I'm gonna set up the parking brake. It's going to let me. Yep, the parking brake is on. That's great. Okay, let's turn on our landing lights. Let's turn off our taxi lights. Let's turn on strobe lights. Logo and wing lights can remain off. TCAS. What are we looking at in terms of TCAS? What does TCAS look like? Apparently it's already on TARA for some reason. But it's automatically being managed, I hope. Because it's only on TA only for the time being. Okay, I don't think there's anything else for us to do here apart from go ahead and take off pretty much. Yeah. Okay, fine. Looking good. Looking good. I'm gonna come here and go there. There we go. Perfect. Yep, everything we need is done. So in that case, let's go ahead and release that parking brake if it will let me. There we go, parking brake released. Little bit of thrust there. There you go. Looking lovely. And then I shall turn the aircraft gently, like so. Hopefully without going into the grass there. Yep. Just like that. There we go. Looking good. Okay. Let's turn this behemoth around here on this tiny runway. Clearly not designed for a 777, but not a problem. There we go. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. There we go. We're gonna keep it right there. Okay, with that, we are pretty much ready for takeoff, and let's do this thing, shall we? Without further delay. Let's just go ahead and get ourselves up on out of here. So, there we go. Thrust set. Away we go. We did set the payload, right? Yeah, we did. What? Oh no. It's that same issue. It's that same issue, guys. Gear up. There we go. Gear going up. Come on. It's that same issue. Anytime you restart GSX like that, it removes the payload that you set. So I don't understand why it does that, but it does. I'll never understand why it does that, but it does that. So I did something, when I do something with the GSX, something happens and the payload virtually disappears, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see at the by the time we land into Cork, but the aircraft is too light. I know that there isn't anything going on here. This 777 doesn't exactly work flawlessly with 2024, if I'm being entirely honest. It really doesn't. So we have auto throttle kicking in right now. I could give it off to the autopilot for the time being. So I'm just gonna go back here. Going to put that on off. That is already on off. We got landing lights can remain on. Okay. Passenger signs can remain on. There we go. Leaving behind Cardiff. Looking good, but that aircraft felt light. That didn't feel right, so I'm not too sure. Maybe there isn't much fuel on board. So apparently we didn't need all that runway. I don't know how realistic that is, man. I really have no idea how realistic that is. The fact that we took off that quickly from a runway that short, I mean, we barely used any of the runway. Yes, I understand we're not on full capacity. Like, we still supposed to have 200 passengers and some fuel and cargo on board, right? And that didn't feel right. That did not feel right at all. We are traveling with just 90,000 pounds of... I mean, still 90,000 payload. I don't know. 36,000 pounds of block fuel. And it took off like... it was a Cessna. I'm not so sure. Something is wrong with what's going on here. But as you saw, I tried to import my payload and my fuel from SimBrief, so it should have worked. Very, very mind blown there, flabbergasted, if you will, by that behavior of the aircraft. I don't understand why it was so light to fly, why it rose up into the sky so easily. I'll never understand, but yeah. Can increase the range on that. Actually, I'll leave the range on this one. I'll increase the range on that one. There we go, still 6,000 feet here. Passenger sign still on. VNAV is working apparently. Yeah, it is working. Brilliant. That is all looking good. That is all looking good. Okay. Perfect. Engine's looking good. Traffic looking good. Everything else is pretty much looking fantastic. Okay. But I'll leave the terrain on this one. I don't even know if that works. But pretty cool. Okay, we seem to be all good, but something ain't right, I can tell you that much. Something ain't right with the way how it behaved with the payload and everything. Anyway, I waffle about. Still at 6,000 feet here. I needed to climb. If we take a look at little nav map, where are we at? If we take a look at little nav map, come on. Yeah, we're just about here. We're supposed to be at 6,000 feet, which it is doing kind of correctly. And yeah, we should begin our climb after the beacon here. Oh yeah, we're fine. We're alright. Not gonna bother too much about it. We are looking alright. There we go. Resuming our climb a little bit, I believe. Or maybe not. Plenty of cloud cover today. So we're just waiting to cross about 10,000 feet so we can turn off our landing lights and the like. But clearly something just ain't right with the way how this aircraft took off. Something just ain't right. Now we're descending all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on, but something ain't right with the way we took off. So yeah, I need to go back in here and see what's going on about that. Go back in here and see what's going on about that. Perhaps we could check it here in the weight and balance. Let's see what's going on. Now, what's going on right now? How do I check the current situation? Takeoff weight 493. Yeah, that's correct. Passenger level 100%. What the? No. We have 200 passengers on board. That's not right. We have so few passengers on board. I do not understand. Maybe we have the full load as well, because I'm not too sure, because GSX told me that it was 270 something, but apparently we have 370 something. So I don't know, man. It's confusing the hell out of me. Okay. Yeah, we got 0. Anyway. Okay, let's change our barometric pressure to standard there. And there we go. We're on our climb out, pretty much. Pretty steeply. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now there is nothing much to do except enjoy the views as we fly along towards Cork. And once we reach it, I'll be able to chime in once again into the cockpit. Let's turn off the landing lights. We've crossed 10,000 feet. And there we go. I'm going to leave it here till we reach top of descent. So, yeah. Enjoy the views. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming up on top of descent right here, and we've got the FMC message asking us to readjust our reset our MCP altitude. So that's what we'll do here. Let's go ahead and put that down to what do we put it down to? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what we're going to put it down towards. We're going to put it down towards 3,000 feet. Okay. So let's do that right away. 3,000 feet, please. And ta-da, there we go. Okay. So our aircraft will now begin its automatic descent here. And just like that, we have come into Cork. Not a long flight at all. But yeah, let's have a little look at little nav map there, see where we are at to give us a better view of what exactly is going on. There we go. We're literally halfway between the two land masses here, halfway between the sea somewhat. And top of descent has already dawned upon us, and there's our arrival procedure. So let's see how this goes. Let us see how this goes. We're descending a little quicker than we should. But, you know, I'm just going to let the autopilot do its thing. There's not much left anyway, so great. Alright, we can leave our passenger signs off for the time being until we cross 10,000 feet. Okay, so what I'll do is I will join you guys as we dip below 10,000 feet, because there's nothing else to do till we reach somewhere around that altitude. So yeah, we'll let the aircraft continue its own navigation vertically, and then I shall join you guys somewhere around 10,000 feet now. Perfect. We are, ladies and gentlemen, coming in on 10,000 feet at the moment. Yeah, just 10,500 under. So let's go ahead and turn on our passenger signs here. Let's get our landing lights on. Let's have a look at our checklist here. What does it say? Descend, all of that. Oh, we should have checked this, shouldn't we have? Auto brake. We need to set that up right now. Now, for landing into Cork, I'm going to go auto brake 3. Okay, because we don't have much room available there. So landing data, VREF minimums, approach. Okay, normal. Altimeters, we need to set that up during our approach. Let me see. Let me have a look. That is all good there. Looking good. Okay. We are looking good, ladies and gentlemen. Looking good. I don't know what just happened. Why aren't we following this anymore? Oh, LNAV got turned off for some reason. I don't know what just happened there. But we went into heading mode. Must have been my mistake. But anyway, not an issue. We're going to turn our aircraft back around to the appropriate track. And we need to descend here. We need to descend. Let me turn it back in a little steeper here. Yeah, let's do that. Hopefully it will catch LNAV very, very soon there. Speed still at 250. It has begun descending once again, which is good news. Yeah, we're looking good here. We're looking just alright. I don't know when that happened, but I must have switched accidentally from LNAV to heading select. But no issues. No issues. Look at that engine wobble right there. Pretty cool, isn't it? Lovely. Okay, we are probably flying over Ireland at this point, just to confirm. I can go ahead and take a look at little nav map, a quick little peek right there. Yes, we are. We are flying over Ireland at this point. We missed that waypoint because of the heading select, but we should be okay here. You know, we need to descend, and we need to descend quick. Good lord. Okay, I need to. What is going on here? Has LNAV been caught? Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Okay. Auto brakes on 3. Passenger signs are on. Altimeters, I'm gonna set that. We need to dip a little bit below. Yeah, we need to be lower than this. Good lord, 10 nautical miles away to make 6,000. That can be done quite easily, so it's not a big deal. Okay, perhaps I am getting worked up for nothing. Alrighty, looking good. Looking good. It's a little bit of traffic right there, not an issue. Quite far away. 8,000 feet, not a problem. Not yet time for altimeters, I believe. Still need to dip below 8,000 before we can switch local pressure. Everything else pretty much doing okay. Now, at the airport at Cork, I don't know, we're landing into the longest runway. Let's see how long we have available. 7,000 feet is what we have available, so auto brake 3 should be enough, hopefully, depending on how the payload configuration of the aircraft works. I'm not entirely sure, so let's see how it turns out. It's going to be fun either way. Live weather, live time as usual. Well, not as usual, but most of the time. What happens here? Oh, did not know that. Anyway, whatever. 7,000 feet. Everything else is looking pretty decent here. We are looking good, ladies and gentlemen. We are looking good. It's fantastic. Fantastic. Look at that. Nice and easy. The aircraft is looking beautiful. Let's jump back in here. 6,000 feet coming up. Real nice and easy. Our speed needs to drop now to 198.7 nautical miles away. And then at Gosda, we need 170 nautical miles. Okay, that's not too bad. We need to switch from standard, don't we? We seriously do. Okay, let's switch that to local pressure right there. As we come in, we'll do that one more time. I didn't really need to do that just yet, but we'll do that one more time as we turn in towards the airport. Okay, looking good. Brilliant. Anything else we need to do? Speed brakes need to be armed right before we come into land. Just going to check that for the time being. Speed brakes, landing gear, and flaps. Okay. It's a little too early for flaps in my opinion, although I think we're within the limit, but still. Gonna allow the speed to bleed off a little bit more before I start working with the flaps here. Speed brakes can remain armed, why not? Okay. There we go. Let's have a look from the passenger side as we dip beneath the clouds here. I have no idea what kind of weather that we are expecting as we come into land at Cork, but it seems like just a bit of clouds and that's pretty much it. Nothing too bad. Yeah, it doesn't seem too bad at all. Okie dokie. What is going on here? This is the view I land at. Huh. I have no idea. Anyway, we should probably be a little bit more further back. I'll adjust the view on that later. But yeah, we're looking good here. Looking good here. Come on, we need to slow down here, mister. Why aren't we slowing down? Let me give the flaps. You drop the flaps down to position number 1 there. Okay. Waiting to see some movement on the flaps. Nothing just yet. Okay. Absolutely no movement visible on the flaps. I thought... Okay, there is a bit of movement, but... yeah, position 1 there. That's slats, actually. My bad. I don't think flaps move down at that position. Let's move down to flaps 5 here. Let us see. Can we use the ILS just yet? Is approach mode available to us? Okay, let's drop our flaps a little bit more here. See how that works out. There we go, flaps are dropping. Flaps are dropping. There we go. The runway is just ahead of us. I don't have anything in terms of ILS. You know what? Let me go ahead and drop our gear here. Should I do that right away? Yes, I should. So let's drop the gear. Dropping gear, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Gear drop. Good. I might have to take manual control here because by the looks of it, the autopilot is not being able to capture the ILS here. Yeah, there's no ILS going on here, is there? No, sir. There is nothing, not even localizer available. Okay, so I'm going to take manual control before this thing gets... Truth of the matter is we've gone a little bit off track. There we go. My aircraft going down. I'm gonna drop the flaps there. Drop the flaps. Okay, dropping flaps to 30. I'm going to... Oh, good lord, that is not looking good. I'm just gonna go back to the next checklist there. Need to turn off VNAV there somehow. Oh god, how do I turn off VNAV? I need VNAV to turn off. There we go. Come on, come on. Let me disarm this. How do I turn off VNAV? I have no idea. Anyway, we're coming in a little too fast. Coming in way too fast. I have no idea. This is what happens when you try and land into stuff that it... Okay, there we go. Come on. Don't do this. Don't do this. You know what? Disengage. Disengage auto throttle. Disengage everything. Going in full manual here. Let's see how this goes. We're going to have a sync rate warning. But we're going to be fine. Checklist incomplete. That's all fine. We're okay. Yes, pull up. I know. I got it. There we go. Give it a little bit of power. There we go. Bit of a crosswind.
20, 10.
There we go. Not too bad at all. Reverse thrust. Oh, come on. Reverse engage, please. Okay, we have no reverse thrust available for some reason. I've got that issue with the control on PMDG. So, yeah. No reverse thrust available here. Okay, in 2024 I still have that issue, so yeah, unfortunately that's a problem. Okay, now the reverse decides to kick in, good lord. Okay, that is pretty bad, but there we go. We've made it. That is pretty bad, but we've made it. Oh, good lord, that was terrible. That was pretty terrible, wasn't it? There we go. That was pretty terrible. Let's turn off that, let's turn off that, let's turn on that. We can put our flaps up all the way, if it will let me. Can give it a bit of positive thrust there so we get moving. And the speed brakes are also off. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cork. And unfortunately, our autopilot there was not able to capture the ILS the way we needed it to. I mean, this is not an airport that I typically think 777s fly into. They might, but not too terrible at the end of the day, I believe. And we had that issue with the control. For some reason, I can't switch to reverse here. I don't have this issue in 2020, so that's something I need to sort out with the controls there. My bad. Nonetheless, we're on the ground. We are on the ground. Lucky us. Let's turn this aircraft around, shall we? Let's turn this aircraft. Find ourselves a little parking if we can. I highly doubt we'll be able to fit into anything there, so I'm just gonna go straight in right here. There we go. Just gonna go straight in right here. There we go. Brilliant. Brilliant. We're gonna leave our aircraft right here. Okay, let's now go ahead and take a look at the landing replay and see how that landing went. I doubt it went very, very well, but let's go ahead and find out, shall we? Okay, so let's check out this landing replay where I'm pretty sure a few people might have crapped their pants. Okay, there we go. A firm landing. Okay, we didn't go off the runway at least. It's a thin runway. A firm landing there. I should not have relied on the ILS catching. I don't know why that didn't happen. Probably had the wrong frequency dialed in or something. I have no idea. Because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So I don't understand. But this time it didn't work. And the reverse thrust only kicked in towards the end when we really didn't need it. So there you go. That was that landing. Everything went wrong with that landing, but you know, I don't think it was too terrible. But I should have taken control way before instead of fiddling with the systems and trying to turn off VNAV and all that crap. I should have just taken control. Nonetheless, yeah. If we left that thing to run the way it was supposed to, we would have never made it. Anyway, let's take a few more landing replays. Have a look. All right. Look at how close we got to the ground right there. We would have, that's almost a tail strike right there. Good lord. Yeah, that's almost a tail strike. Alrighty. Alrighty. I should just start doing go-arounds instead of forcing the landing. I should really just do a go-around. So I'll have to redo this landing into Cork to redeem myself, as usual. If I mess up a landing, I have to retry it, right? That's the rule of the channel. So I will be performing another landing into Cork to redeem myself. And I'll figure out what went wrong. But for now, there is another landing replay. Let's check out what we looked like from inside the cabin. There we go, left side of the cabin. Awfully close to the ground there. And there we go. There we go. That was definitely a firm landing, but it's pretty much within the realm of normal, I would say. I think I'm used to smoother touchdowns, but yeah. Failure to deploy reverse thrust. Need to look at that in a bit more detail there. But apart from that, pretty decent. We'll take a look at what we look like from the other side of the cabin as well. Yeah, and then we'll see. Okay. Okay. Last landing replay. From the other side of the cabin. Good lord, that's too close. Okay. Definitely had better landings than that. Perfect. I should need to sort out whatever was wrong with my controls on PMDG 777 here. Need to figure that out, set up the throttle, and revisit Cork. Yeah. Even the spoilers did not deploy until the very end, so that is not good. That is not good. It's because while I was trying to reverse thrust, it actually went to forward thrust. So yeah, anyway. There we go. Alrighty. Obviously, we're going to have a bunch of warnings now because of the replays and stuff, but that's okay. That's okay. We can just go to GSX. Okay, before we go to GSX, Let's come down to our tablet here. Ground operations. We're gonna set the chokes and request the ground power here. We should have done things a little differently, but here we are. Gonna connect that up, and then we're going to switch off our engines here. There we go. Switching off engines. We're gonna forget about all of that. And then we're gonna ask GSX to deboard our passengers, and okay, whatever GSX says. Great. So let that happen. You can come to the maintenance tab here. And we need to replace those tires right there. Let's go overhead. Turn those off there. Brilliant. Turn off our fuel pumps because we don't need them anymore. We can turn off beacon lights, taxi lights, strobe lights, all that off. All of that off right there. Passenger signs off. ADARU off. Emergency lights off there. These can come to off. Yep, there we go. Pretty much that's it. That's it up there. That's it up there. Okie dokie, let's see what's going on with GSX. There we go. We've got ground handling attached. Thank God for that. We've got cargo handling attached on the other side of it as well. There we go. So cargo is being taken care of. And so are the passengers, hopefully very soon. But what else do we got going on? We don't need to do anything else here, do we? No, we really don't. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cork, Ireland. There we go. Welcome to Cork, Ireland. And there we go. We got our passenger bus coming up. Let's, while that's happening, let's take a quick look. Using the drone camera, it looks absolutely stunning this side. And yes, this is also a handcrafted airport. We could have probably parked at a gate. Perhaps, no, not really. We wouldn't have fit there. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, the airport looks really nice. It is handcrafted in the simulator. And I really love the walkway between the two terminals right here. Really, really nice. So yeah, very nice little... There's a nice sign there as well. Let's see. Is it modeled on the inside? Not really, just this little... Oh, it is a little bit modeled. Oh, that's good enough to give it a sort of depth from the outside, I guess. But the main terminal area is actually modeled. So I'm not complaining here. Look at that. This looks really good from the outside, which is what counts. It's modeled well enough that it looks really good. Right? And even from the inside, it looks really nice. So for a handcrafted airport, I'm happy with this scenery right here. It's really nice. Really, really nice. I enjoy that. Very good. Beautiful airport. Look at that. Lovely. You can see our 777 off in the distance there. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that little flight. So I'm gonna need to redeem myself by landing properly into Cork now. But yeah, first ever time landing into Cork with a 777 or even an airliner. I have landed into here with the Beechcraft King Air, if I'm not wrong, but I've never landed in with any aircraft nearly this big. So I'll definitely be doing that again to redeem myself. The landing is possible. It's very, very possible. Just about. We're at the limits, but it is possible. So I'll be revisiting that and having a little bit of fun. But yeah, I'm not too disappointed for a first try. I probably didn't have the right frequency on the ILS tuned in. I forget to check that all the time. I know that with the A310 you gotta manually check that in, but PMDG sometimes the 777 automatically does that for you, sometimes it doesn't. It's hard to tell when it works, so should have double checked that. Nonetheless, hope you guys enjoyed that flight, and I will catch you in the next video. See ya and bye bye.